Welcome to another beautiful Friday session. This topic today is so important, I think. We all are meant to bloom. If I asked a flower how difficult it is to bloom, of course a flower can't answer, but she just is. She is a flower. She blooms. And imagine a flower would find excuses and reasons why not to bloom. Why not to flourish? Why not to thrive? What could that be? And for me, for you, what could be reasons not to bloom, not to flourish? Did you know that lack of self-esteem, of self-worth, of confidence is just as unspiritual as it is to be proud or pride? So therefore, that's my topic today, that I understand who I really am and what my purpose is, and that I'm meant to bloom, that I'm meant to flourish, that I'm meant to step out and be the queen. And today I'm so happy that and so thankful that I have learned so many things in my 58 years of life. But looking back, it wasn't always like that I felt like flourishing or that I felt like a queen. No, the opposite. I was hiding. I was hiding in the shadows. I was afraid. I was shameful. I was lacking of tools. I didn't know how. So I decided better to be silent, better not to be seen, because if I would be seen, then maybe I wouldn't be perfect. So starting this journey has changed me, and I'm still in the process. I'm still in the process of learning, of developing, of blooming. But first of all, looking at my life, I found these 7 fears, and I think they're common to most women in this world. 7 fears that keep us in the shadows, that keep us in the 7 shades of gray, that keep us in the ashes like Cinderella. The first one, like I already mentioned, lack of confidence, not knowing who I am, in what I'm meant to be, that I'm much more than a flower, much more than meant to bloom. I'm meant to flourish, I'm meant to thrive, and I'm meant to be beautiful, and I am just, yes, wonderfully made. You know this verse in the Bible, the beginning, where it says in Genesis that God created the world, and then it comes all these different details God created. You know, that's such a weak translation actually. It actually means that God created from nothing something that he calls perfect. From nothing to perfect. And he created you and calls you perfect. That's the opposite to perfectionism. Perfectionism is another aspect that keeps me in the hiding, because I think that I have to be 100%. I have to be perfect in order to show up, or to be able to bloom, or to be able to do something. But you know, that's actually the lowest standard. The lowest standard, because no one in this world is 100% perfect. And people that strive for the 100%, and if they don't reach the 100%, then they don't do anything. So therefore, strive for 80%. Excellent. Strive for 80% and do the best you can. You can do more, yes, and you can set your standards high, but 100% is only God. But he sees you as 100%. So how to do these 80%, how to work on these different steps, there it's another thing that keeps us in hiding because we don't know how. It's the lack of tools, it's the lack of information, it's the lack of knowledge. And that's with everything in this world. If I don't know how it works, it's so difficult. Let's start with school. A little 7-year-old that just started school, learning to read, well, he doesn't know the letters yet. So for that boy, that girl, it's difficult to read. But for us now, we don't even think about it. We just read. And that's with everything. Until you learn it, until you manage it, it's difficult. It's hard. But once you understand how it works, it's easy. So therefore, learn more, know more, get the tools. Ask those that already have those tools. So in my case, I decided to learn as an image consultant, as learn everything about style and color in order to be able to understand myself better, to understand what works with me and for me, and help others, other women, to understand their perfect harmony and in color, in style, in image. So what keeps us women in the shadows, in the hiding, in the ashes of gray, it's this false sense of humility. And very often it's from a spiritual, religious background maybe that keeps us hiding, because we are afraid if we show up, if we show who we actually are and actually are meant to be, people will think that and consider that as pride. But that's a false sense of humility. Actually, it's a form of pride. So that keeps me in inaction. So then I don't do anything. Then I'm hiding behind that and I feel good, no one sees me. But actually, it's a very sad state to be in. I know what I'm talking about. And I see that so often. Women with faces without any expression, without any light in their eyes. They look as if they're dry inside. So I feel so much for those women, and I want to help you. I want to help them to overcome these shadows, to step out and understand that they're actually daughters of a king, that they're actually princesses, that they're called to step out, to be in the light and to be light, to be visible. Another thing that keeps us in inaction is laziness. It's simply my comfort zone. That's what I know. That's where I feel comfortable in, and I'm not willing to do the hard work to think what could be best for me, what could actually work better on me, how to maybe add a little bit of makeup, dress up a little bit more, because remember, I'm the daughter of the king, and if I'm royalty, I also am with obligations, right? I have many rights, but I also have obligations, and one of them is show up and behave and dress like royalty. So don't forget who you are, and don't hide in your laziness. That would be the fifth thing that keeps us in the shadows. And we have 7 shades of gray. So the 6th one is the fear of rejection. And I think that's a big one for us women. We are so sensible if someone says or mentions anything about us. And I remember perfectly when about 10 years ago when I was in Germany, and we were in this practice of explaining everything about color and style, and we had to find clients that were willing to accept this process with them. And then we had to go on, or I, for example, I didn't have any relatives or friends nearby. I had to go onto the street and ask random women if they would be willing to accept this process of, well, style and color and all that. And if they were alone, they accepted the invitation. And then they left the room with bright and shining faces because they were so happy to understand who they actually were and what color suited them. And instead of shades of gray, they were just, well, rainbow colors. But if I asked women that were in a group with men, you know what the reaction was? First, they were kind of careful, not answering. And then came comments from men like, yeah, you should actually do that. You need it. And then they said no. The women said no. No one said yes. No one accepted this free gift of a color consultation when they were with men after they heard such comments. So fear of rejection that keeps us in the shadows, keeps us in gray. So what will people say? What will they think? And what would happen if I actually would bloom? So this fear is kind of killing that flower. So don't listen to what others say. Listen to your heart, because in your heart you have this desire. Every woman has this desire to bloom, to flourish, to be beautiful, and in a very unique way. Every woman is different in a unique you way. And then there's the 7th shade of gray, which is shame. Shame keeps me like blocked. Shame keeps me from moving forward. You remember maybe traumatic experiences where someone has made fun of you. So it's kind of like fear of rejection, but it blocks you and it keeps you in this shadow of shame. And shame is another very terrible enemy, I would say, that keeps you from growing and blooming. So what could you do to overcome these 7 shades of gray and actually become the most feminine, radiant woman in the room? What could you do? Quickly, shine from within. Understand who you are. A daughter of the king, a queen, a princess. Shine on the outside in your color harmony and in your style harmony. There are tools, it's simple to understand once you know. It's like the ABC, learning to read. 3rd, perfectionism versus, yes, I am perfect. The way I am, God sees me perfect. And I'm always in this process of becoming the masterpiece that I was meant to be. 4th, confidence is knowing who I am, but knowing what my message is and how I can transmit that also with my image. So according to my message and according to the situation, I know how I can highlight my message with an authentic image. 5th, instead of comfort zone, I'm ready to do what it takes to get to what I'm actually meant to be, to bloom, to thrive, and to be beautiful. And 6th, knowing I'm accepted, I'm wanted, I'm good enough, I'll do and I accept the process. I'll step out of my comfort zone and will move into God's zone. I will cross that bridge. I will build that gap. And I'll ask for help if I don't know how. It's no shame asking for help. No, it's shameful if you don't ask for help. 7th, decide and say to yourself, I don't hide anymore. I am Not like Cinderella sitting in the ashes and counting the lentils. No. I will get up, I'll put on my dress and my shoes, and I will step out and shine for the King. In our next session, I'll give you tools. I'll teach you about tools, how to step out and how to shine in your colors and in your unique style. I want to give you some ideas which are general, in which everyone can apply to his or her situation. If you liked this message, don't forget to hit the like button and to subscribe also to my YouTube channel, because there I'm going to publish this teaching and all the other teachings that will follow up on this topic. So thank you for listening and have a wonderful, blessed and beautiful weekend. Love you.